Welcome to Whispered Unknown. Tonight, we journey into the deepest shadows, exploring the chilling phenomenon of what some call the night people. These are the visitors who only appear in the dark, figures or presences that emerge when the world is hushed and the light recedes. They are not always monstrous, at least not in the traditional sense. Sometimes they are fleeting, a shadow at the edge of your vision, gone the moment you truly look. Other times, they are disturbingly clear, standing at the foot of your bed, watching with an unseen gaze. For centuries, across cultures and continents, humanity has grappled with what lurks in the darkness. We have told stories of boogeymen, spirits, and demons. But the night people are something more specific, something often encountered in the most vulnerable moments, when you are alone and the world outside is asleep. We will explore real accounts, chilling reports, and the unsettling overlap between the paranormal and the psychological. We will delve into the science behind some of these experiences, and then plunge back into the raw, unexplainable narratives that defy simple logic. This journey will take us through the quiet dread of sleep paralysis, the sudden terror of seeing a dark figure, and the disturbing encounters with entities that knock on your door late at night. Prepare yourselves, for the night holds many secrets, and some of them want to be known. So dim the lights, perhaps pull your blanket a little tighter, and let us begin. What exactly are we talking about when we speak of the night people? They are not always traditional ghosts, though some may overlap. These entities are characterized by their appearance during periods of low light or complete darkness, often when a person is just waking up, about to fall asleep, or completely alone in their home. The vulnerability of the dark is a key factor. When your vision is impaired, your other senses heighten, and your imagination can run wild. The unknown becomes fertile ground for fear, and what our minds perceive can sometimes manifest in startlingly real ways. The night people encompass a range of phenomena. They might be described as shadow figures, indistinct and purely dark, without features. They could be specific entities tied to folklore, like the old hag of sleep paralysis. Sometimes they are described as more concrete, yet still profoundly unsettling, like the dreaded black-eyed children who appear on doorsteps after dusk. Or they could be the truly mysterious, the men in black, who arrive uninvited and unannounced, shrouded in an aura of disquiet. What unites them is the shroud of night, the sense of being an uninvited guest, and the profound feeling of dread they often impart. These are not always playful or benevolent spirits. More often, they bring a distinct chill, a feeling of being watched, or an overwhelming sense of wrongness. Let us begin with one of the most commonly reported forms of night people, the shadow figures. Imagine waking in the middle of the night, perhaps to the sound of a distant car or for no reason at all. Your room is pitch black, the kind of dark that feels thick and heavy. As your eyes adjust, you might notice something, a deeper shade of black against the already dark wall. It is a shape, tall and indistinct, standing silently. It does not move, it does not make a sound, but you feel its presence with an intensity that makes your heart pound. Many reports describe these shadow figures as purely humanoid in shape, sometimes wearing what looks like a hat or a cloak. They lack any discernible features, no eyes, no mouth, just a void. Yet you feel an undeniable sense of being observed, often with malevolent intent. A common experience is seeing them at the very edge of your vision. You turn your head to look directly, and they vanish, leaving you to wonder if it was just your eyes playing tricks on you in the dark. But the feeling, the lingering chill, tells you otherwise. There are countless tales from people who have witnessed these silent watchers. One person described waking up to a figure standing at the foot of their bed, completely black, leaning slightly forward as if examining them. The person felt an intense pressure, a suffocating fear, and could not move or scream. This encounter lasted only moments, but the memory, The sheer terror of that dark silhouette against the barely perceptible outlines of their room stayed with them for years. They describe it as being watched by something ancient and cold, something that did not belong. Another account speaks of a family who consistently saw a shadowy figure in their hallway at night. It would appear at the top of the stairs, observing them from the darkness. They tried turning on lights, but it would always disappear, only to reappear once the light was gone. The children in the house were particularly sensitive, often crying about the tall man who watched them from the shadows. This collective experience lends a chilling credibility to their claims, suggesting it was more than just individual imagination. From a scientific perspective, some of these shadow figure sightings can be attributed to a phenomenon known as hypnagogic or hypnopompic hallucinations. These occur during the transitional states between wakefulness and sleep. Hypnagogic hallucinations happen as you drift off, while hypnopompic ones occur as you are waking up. During these moments, your brain is still partially in a dream state, even though you are semi-conscious. This can lead to vivid, realistic sensations, including seeing figures, hearing sounds, or feeling tactile sensations that are not actually there. Approximately 25 to 30% of people report experiencing hypnagogic hallucinations at some point in their lives. So seeing a shadow figure could be your brain misinterpreting sensory input in a low-light environment, or creating a visual hallucination as it transitions out of sleep. The fear and sense of dread often associated with these sightings can amplify the experience, making it feel incredibly real and terrifying. However, many people who experience these sightings swear they are fully awake, fully lucid, and that the figure is undeniably present. They report a distinct feeling of a separate entity, something external to their own minds. This is where the scientific explanation often falls short for those who have truly felt the chill of a night person. Consider the common thread among these shadow figure experiences: the feeling of being watched, the sense of an unseen presence, the overwhelming fear. Whether it is a trick of the mind or something more, the psychological impact is undeniable. It leaves people questioning their reality, checking locks, and dreading the approach of nightfall. These figures often appear silently, and their silence is perhaps one of their most terrifying characteristics. No footsteps, no breathing, just an unnerving stillness. This lack of sound amplifies the visual impact, making the presence feel unnatural, outside the bounds of normal perception. The descriptions are remarkably consistent across different people, different cultures, and different times. A tall, dark, featureless silhouette. This consistency suggests either a shared psychological vulnerability or a shared, widespread, anomalous phenomenon. Both possibilities are profoundly unsettling. The next category of night people, often intertwined with the shadow figures, is intimately linked to a terrifying sleep phenomenon: sleep paralysis. This is the old hag syndrome, where you wake up but find yourself completely unable to move or speak. Your mind is alert, you are conscious of your surroundings, but your body is completely paralyzed. This can last for a few seconds or for several minutes, and it is almost always accompanied by a profound sense of terror. During sleep paralysis, many people report vivid, frightening hallucinations. This is where the night people often make their most direct and terrifying appearances. Common experiences include feeling a heavy pressure on the chest, a sensation of being pinned down, or hearing strange, unsettling sounds. And then, there are the figures. Often, people describe a dark entity, sometimes a shadow figure, sometimes more distinctly humanoid, sitting on their chest or standing over them. This is the classic old hag archetype, a malevolent presence that paralyzes and terrorizes. Historically, this phenomenon has been interpreted in many ways. In medieval Europe, it was believed to be the work of incubi or succubi, demons who would lay upon sleeping individuals. In Newfoundland, it is known as the old hag, a spectral woman who sits on the chests of sleepers. In Japan, it is kanashibari, meaning bound with metal, and is sometimes associated with spirits or yokai. Across diverse cultures, the experience is remarkably similar: paralysis, pressure, and a frightening presence. This universality points to a deep-seated human experience. Approximately 4 out of 10 people will experience sleep paralysis at least once in their lives. For some, it is a rare occurrence. For others, it is a recurring nightmare that they dread every night. The sheer number of people who have gone through this lends significant weight to the idea that these experiences, whether psychological or otherwise, are very real to the individuals enduring them. Imagine this scenario. You wake up suddenly, perhaps from a disturbing dream. You try to move to sit up, but you cannot. Your arms and legs are like lead, your voice caught in your throat. Panic begins to set in, a cold dread washing over you. Then you notice it. A presence in the room. Maybe a dark shape coalescing in the corner, or a figure slowly emerging from the shadows. It draws closer, and you can feel its coldness, its intent. It might be leaning over you, its face unseen, but its gaze felt. The pressure on your chest increases, making it hard to breathe. You strain against the invisible bonds, trying to scream, but no sound escapes. The figure seems to feed on your terror, its presence growing stronger with every beat of your frantic heart. This is the nightmarish reality for millions. For those who believe it is a genuine paranormal attack, the experience is deeply traumatic. They see it as a spirit, a demon, or an entity actively trying to harm them. The overwhelming fear certainly feels like an attack. Science explains the paralysis as a temporary malfunction of the brain during REM sleep. When you dream, your brain paralyzes your body to prevent you from acting out your dreams. In sleep paralysis, your mind wakes up before the paralysis mechanism switches off. The hallucinations are a byproduct of the brain still being in a dream state. However, the vividness, consistency, and the sheer malevolent feel of the entities described defy simple explanation for many. Why do so many people see similar dark figures? Why the feeling of oppressive weight? Why the intense dread that is so specific and universal? One person described seeing an old, shriveled woman with long, clawed fingers reaching for their throat during sleep paralysis. They felt the cold touch of her hand on their neck, even though they knew intellectually they were paralyzed. The line between dream and reality blurs horrifyingly. Another spoke of a shadow being that would whisper their name slowly, menacingly during these episodes. The voice seemed to come from inside their head, yet it felt alien and terrifyingly real. The inability to respond or escape amplified the horror. Whether it is your brain creating the ultimate horror movie for you or something more, sleep paralysis and its accompanying night people are profoundly impactful. They leave people exhausted, terrified, and sometimes reluctant to sleep, knowing what might await them in the liminal space between waking and dreaming. The psychological scars can be deep and lasting. Beyond the bedroom and sleep-related phenomena, some night people manifest as something more akin to actual intruders, yet with an unsettling, non-human twist. These are the sounds in the night, the fleeting glimpses, and the undeniable sense that someone or something is in your home, even when logic dictates otherwise. Imagine being alone in your house late at night. The wind howls outside, branches scrape against the windows, and every creak of the old house seems amplified in the silence. Suddenly, you hear it, a distinct thump from upstairs, or perhaps the sound of footsteps shuffling in the hallway. Your heart leaps into your throat. You call out, "Hello?" There is no answer, only an unnerving silence. You try to rationalize it. The house settling, the cat knocking something over, perhaps just your imagination playing tricks. But then you hear it again. A faint whisper, almost imperceptible, or the distinct sound of a floorboard groaning under weight. You feel an inexplicable chill, a sense of being watched from the darkness, a presence that is not human. Many people report hearing their own name whispered from an empty room, or sounds of objects being moved when no one else is home. These are often interpreted as residual hauntings, where energetic imprints of past events or people linger. But sometimes the activity feels intelligent, reactive, and distinctly unsettling. One woman recounted hearing what sounded like heavy breathing coming from her closet in the middle of the night. She was too terrified to get up and check, pulling the covers over her head. The breathing continued for several minutes, distinctly audible, deep and slow. When morning came, she found nothing out of place. No one could have entered the house. Yet the sound had been undeniable and the fear had been real. Was it a trick of her hearing, amplified by the dark, or something more? Another person spoke of seeing a dark figure pass by their doorway in the dead of night. They assumed it was their partner, but then remembered their partner was away on a trip. They called out, but there was no response. The figure had moved too quickly to be clearly seen, but its outline was distinctly human-shaped. They spent the rest of the night awake, listening intently, but heard nothing else. The feeling of invasion, of something unknown moving through their personal space in the dark, was profoundly disturbing. Sometimes, these home invasion encounters are a result of misinterpretation or environmental factors. Old houses often creak and groan due to temperature changes or structural shifts. Pipes can make strange noises. Animals, like mice or raccoons, can create unexpected sounds in walls or attics. Psychological factors, like auditory pareidolia, where the brain perceives familiar sounds or voices in random noise, can also play a role. When you are on edge and expecting something, your brain is more likely to interpret ambiguous sounds as something threatening. However, the consistency of some of these reports, the feeling of intelligent presence, and the sheer terror experienced by those who encounter them suggest there may be more at play. These are night people who seem to intrude on our private spaces, breaching the perceived safety of our homes under the cloak of darkness. The fear of the unknown intruder, whether human or otherwise, is primal. When that intruder seems to defy physical laws, when they are heard but not seen, or seen but not caught, the fear transforms into something deeper, something bordering on existential dread. It reminds us that even our sanctuaries might not be truly safe from the things that walk in the night. Moving beyond the purely spectral, some night people are disturbingly tangible yet profoundly enigmatic. These are the Men in Black, or MIB as they are often called. While not strictly limited to the dark, their appearance is consistently sudden, uninvited, and typically at odd hours, often cloaked in an unsettling atmosphere of twilight or deep night. The Men in Black are a staple of paranormal and UFO lore. They are described as government agents, extraterrestrial beings, or something in between, who appear to silence witnesses of unusual phenomena. Their visits are almost always late at night, or at the very least, unexpected and disruptive. Imagine this scenario. You have just witnessed something strange. Perhaps a light in the sky that defied explanation, or a cryptid in the woods. You dismiss it, try to forget it. Then a knock on your door late one evening. Standing there are 2 or 3 men, dressed in identical, ill-fitting black suits, often wearing fedoras or sunglasses even at night. Their skin is unusually pale, their voice is monotone, and their demeanor utterly devoid of emotion. They might ask strange, pointed questions about what you saw, sometimes in a circular or nonsensical way. They often seem to know things about you that they should not. They might warn you, subtly or overtly, to remain silent about your experience. The vehicles they arrive in are often described as older model, pristine black cars, eerily silent, and sometimes disappearing as quickly as they appeared. The unsettling nature of their visits is a hallmark. People who encounter them report feeling profound dread, a chilling sense of unreality, and often a subsequent illness or bad luck. The Men in Black seem to drain the life from the room, leaving behind a lingering sense of unease. One famous account involved a man who saw a UFO and later received a visit from 3 men in black suits. They spoke to him in a stilted, almost robotic manner, asking about his sighting. He described their eyes as unusually large and dark, almost too wide for their faces. They implied that he should forget what he saw for his own good. After they left, he felt physically ill for days, and his pet dog, which had been perfectly healthy, died mysteriously within a week. Coincidence? Perhaps. But the man believed it was a direct consequence of their visit. Another witness, who had reported seeing a strange creature, found two men in black at his doorstep at 3 in the morning. They offered him a large sum of money to sign a document retracting his statement. When he refused, they simply stared at him for a long moment before turning and walking away, disappearing into the pre-dawn darkness as if they were never there. What are these men in black? Are they government agents using psychological tactics? Are they a type of non-human entity, perhaps interdimensional beings or extraterrestrials? The consistency of their descriptions across multiple independent reports is striking. Their appearance at night adds to their mystique and terror. It is a time when people are most vulnerable, when their defenses are down, and when unexpected visitors are most unsettling. They are the ultimate uninvited guests, appearing from the darkness to enforce a strange, unknown agenda. The MIB are not about jump scares. They are about a slow, creeping dread, a feeling that your reality has been tampered with, and that there are forces at work far beyond your comprehension. Their very existence is a chilling reminder of the unknown powers that may operate just outside our normal perception, lurking in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to step into the light, even if only briefly. Then there are the black-eyed kids, perhaps one of the most chilling types of night people due to their seemingly innocent facade. These entities are described as children, usually between the ages of 6 and 16, with an unnerving, profound darkness where their eyes should be. They appear at night or sometimes at dusk, typically knocking on the doors of unsuspecting homes. They often ask for entry, claiming they need to use the phone or are lost or need a ride. But there is always something fundamentally wrong with them. Their voices are often described as monotone, their expressions blank, and they elicit an overwhelming sense of dread in anyone who encounters them. The most striking feature, of course, are their eyes, deep, black, featureless voids that seem to absorb all light and pierce your very soul. Imagine this scenario. You are watching television late at night, your house quiet and comfortable. There is a soft rap on the door. It is late, so you are hesitant to answer. You peek through the peephole and see two children, perhaps 10 or 12 years old. They look normal, but something feels off. You open the door a crack. They ask to come in, perhaps to use the phone or to get out of the cold. As they speak, they tilt their heads, and in the dim light of your porch, you see them. Their eyes are not just dark. They are completely black. No iris, no pupil, just an abyssal void. The feeling of terror is instantaneous and overwhelming. People describe a feeling of panic, an urgent primal urge to slam the door shut. Some report feeling physically ill, their hearts pounding uncontrollably. The children persist, sometimes growing more aggressive in their requests. Their voices still flat, but with a growing urgency. One popular account describes a man working from home late at night when two boys knocked on his door. They claimed they needed to get home and their parents would be angry. He started to let them in, but as he reached for the doorknob, he looked into their eyes and saw the blackness. He slammed the door and refused to open it, despite their persistent knocking and increasingly desperate pleas. He said he felt an immense pressure on the door, as if they were trying to force it open. Eventually, they left, but he was left shaken and disturbed for days. Another story tells of a woman who was approached by two children at a gas station late at night. They asked for a ride, but her instincts screamed at her to refuse. As she made an excuse, she saw their black eyes, and the fear was paralyzing. She quickly got into her car and drove away, convinced they were not human. The consistency of the reports about black-eyed kids is deeply unsettling. The age range, the black eyes, the the monotone voices, the request for entry, and the powerful sense of dread they induce. These elements are repeated across numerous independent accounts. Are they a modern urban legend, fueled by the internet and a collective fear of the unknown? Or are they a genuine phenomenon, a type of night person that preys on our sympathy and our human instinct to help children? Their true nature remains a terrifying mystery. Their appearance at night is crucial to their effectiveness. The darkness conceals the subtle differences in their features until it is too late, until they are right there at your door. It amplifies the creepiness of their unnaturally dark eyes and their unsettling requests. The black-eyed kids represent a profound violation of innocence. Children are supposed to be safe, vulnerable, and trusting. To encounter children who embody such a palpable evil, whose eyes are pure darkness, is to face a contradiction that shakes the foundations of our understanding of good and evil. They are the nightmares that come knocking. Now let us delve into the more conventional paranormal explanations for the night people, as understood by those who believe in spirits and entities. For them, these visitors are not hallucinations or misinterpretations, but genuine entities operating outside our normal perception. One common explanation is that these are intelligent hauntings. This implies that the night person is a conscious entity, capable of interaction, thought, and even emotion, though often malevolent ones. They are not just residual energy, they are aware. These intelligent entities might manifest as shadow figures or even more defined apparitions. They might interact with the environment, causing objects to move, creating sounds, or directly interacting with the living. Their appearance at night is often attributed to energy levels or simply the time when the veil between worlds is thinnest. Another theory suggests residual hauntings. In this case, the night people are not conscious entities, but rather energetic imprints of past events or individuals. Think of it like a loop playing over and over again, leaving an impression on a place. While these might not typically interact with people, a person might perceive these residual energies as a fleeting figure or a presence. The darkness could amplify the sensitivity to these lingering energies, making them more noticeable. Some paranormal theories propose interdimensional beings. This suggests that the night people are entities from another dimension, somehow slipping through cracks or thin spots in our reality. They might only be partially visible or only perceptible under certain conditions, such as the cover of night. Their forms, often shadowy or indistinct, could be a result of them not fully manifesting in our dimension. Their motivations remain unknown. Perhaps they are simply observers, or perhaps they have a more sinister purpose in our world. Then there is the concept of thought forms or tulpas. These are entities believed to be created by concentrated thought or belief. If enough people believe in and fear a certain type of entity, like a shadow person, it could theoretically gain enough energy to manifest as a real, independent entity. The sheer number of similar experiences across different individuals could, in this framework, be contributing to the creation and sustenance of these night people as a collective unconscious manifestation. The darkness and fear of the night would be fertile ground for such creation. Finally, some spiritual beliefs suggest that during sleep or in states of altered consciousness, individuals may be more open to spiritual contact. Out-of-body experiences or astral projection could allow people to perceive entities that are usually beyond our normal range of sight and hearing. Whether these entities are souls of the departed non-human spirits or something else entirely, the paranormal perspective holds that the night people are real in a sense that extends beyond psychological phenomena. They are tangible presences, even if only in the darkness, and their existence challenges our understanding of reality. The belief in such entities provides a framework for understanding experiences that otherwise defy logic. For many who have truly felt a cold touch, heard a distinct whisper, or seen an undeniable figure, the paranormal explanation offers a comforting, or perhaps terrifying answer to the question of what exactly is sharing their night. It means they are not alone, even if what is with them is something to be feared. While the stories of the night people are compelling and terrifying, it is equally important to examine the psychological and scientific perspectives that offer alternative explanations for these chilling encounters. Understanding these facets does not necessarily diminish the horror, but it can provide a framework for comprehending why so many people experience similar phenomena. One of the most significant explanations lies in the realm of sleep. As mentioned earlier, hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations are common. These are vivid, dreamlike experiences that occur when a person is falling asleep or waking up. They are very common, affecting a large portion of the population at some point. Your brain is in a transitional state, still partially dreaming, but also partially aware of your surroundings. This can lead to seeing, hearing, or even feeling things that are not physically present. A shadow on the wall can morph into a figure, a creak can become a whisper, or a light touch can feel like a grasp. Sleep paralysis is another key component. As discussed, this is a state where you are conscious but temporarily unable to move your body. It occurs when your brain wakes up before the muscle paralysis of REM sleep has fully subsided. The intense fear and sense of dread are physiological responses to the body's inability to move. During sleep paralysis, hallucinations are very common, sometimes affecting up to 90% of those who experience it. These hallucinations are often vivid and terrifying, encompassing visual, auditory, and tactile sensations. Seeing a dark figure, feeling a presence, or experiencing pressure on the chest are classic symptoms. The brain, still in a dream state, creates these frightening scenarios. Approximately 1/4 of the global population has experienced sleep paralysis at least once, making it a very common human phenomenon. The consistency of the old hag archetype across cultures suggests a shared neurological response during this state, rather than necessarily a shared external entity. Beyond sleep, cognitive biases can play a large role. Pareidolia is the tendency to perceive a specific, often meaningful image or sound in a random or ambiguous stimulus. This is why we see faces in clouds or hear voices in white noise. In the dark, a pile of clothes can look like a person. A shadow can take on a menacing shape. Apophenia is a broader term for seeing meaningful connections or patterns in random or meaningless data. If you are already fearful or expecting something strange in the dark, your brain is more likely to interpret ambiguous stimuli in a way that confirms your existing fears. Environmental factors can also contribute to experiences of the night people. Infrasound, low-frequency sounds that are below the range of human hearing can induce feelings of anxiety, unease, and even fear. These sounds can be generated by natural phenomena like wind or storms, or by man-made sources, such as large machinery or ventilation systems. Even carbon monoxide poisoning can cause hallucinations and a sense of unease or paranoia. This is why it is always important to have working carbon monoxide detectors in your home. A simple detector could explain away a terrifying haunting. Stress, anxiety, and lack of sleep can also heighten our sensitivity to perceived threats and make us more prone to vivid dreams, hallucinations, or misinterpretations of our environment. When our minds are tired or stressed, they can play tricks on us. The brain is a powerful and complex organ, capable of creating incredibly realistic experiences that feel external to us. While these scientific explanations do not negate the terror or the personal reality of those who experience the night people, they offer a rational framework for understanding why these phenomena are so widespread and consistent. The fear, however, remains real, regardless of its origin. The fear of the dark and the things that lurk within it is not new. It is deeply ingrained in the human psyche. Throughout history and across diverse cultures, humanity has sought to explain the inexplicable presences of the night. This cultural and historical context sheds light on the universality of the night people. In ancient folklore, the night was often the domain of spirits, demons, and mischievous entities. European cultures spoke of the night hag long before modern science understood sleep paralysis. This hag, often a malevolent spirit, would sit on the chests of sleepers, causing nightmares and suffocating fear. This is directly aligned with modern sleep paralysis experiences. Japanese folklore is rich with yokai, supernatural beings that often emerge at night. Some, like the Nurarihyon, are described as a head with a body who enters homes at dusk and makes himself comfortable, an uninvited night person in his own right. The Yamauba, a mountain hag, might also visit homes at night, bringing terror. Native American traditions speak of various spirits and entities that appear in the dark, often as shapeshifters or tricksters. The Navajo skinwalkers, for instance, are believed to be malevolent witches who can transform into animals and operate under the cover of night, preying on people. Their very existence is tied to the darkness. In African traditions, ancestral spirits or mischievous entities might visit homes at night, sometimes benignly, sometimes bringing warnings or omens. The fear of nocturnal visitors, whether human or supernatural, is a common thread in countless oral traditions and mythologies worldwide. The common thread is the vulnerability of the night. When light disappears, our primary sense, sight, is diminished. This opens the door for our other senses and our imagination to fill in the gaps. Our fear of the unknown is amplified, leading us to conjure or perceive threats where none might exist, or where genuine anomalous experiences are interpreted through a cultural lens. Consider the role of storytelling. For millennia, humans have gathered around fires at night, sharing tales of what lurks in the dark. These stories serve multiple purposes: to entertain, to warn, and to provide explanations for unexplainable phenomena. The consistency of some night people descriptions across cultures, such as the shadow figure or the night hag, suggests a shared human experience that is then interpreted through local beliefs. The rise of urban legends in modern times continues this tradition. The Black-Eyed Kids, for example, are a contemporary legend that taps into ancient fears: the corruption of innocence, the unsettling nature of the unknown visitor, and the profound dread of non-human entities hiding in plain sight. These stories spread quickly, especially with the advent of the internet, creating a shared cultural experience of fear. The universality of the fear of the dark and the commonality of certain sleep phenomena may explain why similar types of night people appear in folklore across the globe. Our brains are wired to detect threats in low-light environments, and when combined with the unique states of consciousness during sleep transitions, it creates fertile ground for terrifying experiences. Whether ancient demons, folkloric creatures, or modern urban legends, the night people are a testament to humanity's enduring fascination and fear of what happens when the sun goes down. They are a reflection of our deepest anxieties about vulnerability, the unknown, and the boundaries between our reality and something else entirely. The night, it seems, has always held a special place for these visitors. The encounters with the night people, whether psychological or genuinely paranormal, leave a profound impact on those who experience them. These are not trivial events. They often deeply disturb individuals, affecting their sleep, their sense of safety, and sometimes their very perception of reality. The consequences can be long-lasting and significant. One of the most immediate impacts is fear and anxiety. After an encounter with a shadow figure or a sleep paralysis entity, many people report a heightened state of alert, especially as night approaches. They might dread going to bed or find themselves constantly checking their surroundings in the dark. This anxiety can lead to insomnia or disrupted sleep patterns, which in turn can exacerbate the problem by making individuals more prone to hallucinations or misinterpretations. It becomes a vicious cycle of fear and sleeplessness. The very place where one should feel most safe, their bed, becomes a source of dread. A deeply unsettling consequence is the questioning of reality. When you experience something so vivid and terrifying that defies rational explanation, It can shake your worldview. Is it all in your head? Is there truly something else out there? The line between sanity and madness can feel perilously thin. People might start to doubt their own perceptions, or conversely become convinced of a hidden malevolent world. This can lead to paranoia, a constant feeling of being watched, even in daylight hours. The world no longer feels as predictable or safe as it once did. The long-term psychological effects can include post-traumatic stress symptoms. Repeated terrifying encounters, especially during sleep paralysis, can be profoundly traumatizing. Individuals might re-experience the fear, have nightmares, or actively avoid situations that remind them of the encounter. They may struggle with concentration and feel a persistent sense of unease. For some, these experiences can lead to social isolation. It is difficult to explain such phenomena to others who have not experienced them, often leading to dismissal or disbelief. This can make individuals feel alone in their fear, unable to share their burden or seek understanding. They might withdraw, fearing ridicule or judgment. The sense of vulnerability is deeply ingrained. Whether it is a figure in your bedroom, a visitor at your door, or a presence in your home, the night people violate your personal space and your sense of security. This can make people feel permanently exposed, even in their own homes. Ultimately, the impact of these encounters is deeply personal, but consistently negative. They challenge our understanding of what is real. They tap into our deepest fears, and they leave a lingering shadow that can be difficult to shake. The night people, whether products of our minds or something more, leave an indelible mark on those they choose to visit in the dark. So, as we conclude our journey through the shadows, what have we learned about the night people? They are a multifaceted phenomenon, encompassing everything from chilling sleep paralysis, hallucinations, to unnerving visitors that defy all logical explanation. Whether you attribute them to the intricate workings of the human brain, capable of creating incredibly vivid and terrifying experiences, or to genuine entities that exist beyond our current scientific understanding, one thing remains undeniably true: the fear they invoke is real. For those who have seen a silent shadow figure standing at the foot of their bed, felt the crushing weight of an unseen entity, or faced the chilling black eyes of a child knocking late at night, the experience is not just a story. It is a moment, or perhaps many moments, of profound terror that fundamentally alters their perception of the night. The night people remind us of our inherent vulnerability in the dark, the limitations of our senses, and the vast unknown expanses that lie just beyond the reach of our streetlights and our logic. They are the whispers in the dark, the figures at the edge of our vision, the uninvited guests who only appear when the world goes quiet. They are a testament to the enduring mystery of the human mind and the universe it inhabits. So, the next time the lights go out and the house settles into its nighttime creaks and groans, remember the stories we have shared tonight. Remember the night people. And wonder just for a moment if you are truly alone in the dark. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the chilling world of the night people. What are your stories of visitors in the dark? Share them in the comments below if you dare. Until next time, stay safe and try not to let the shadows get to you.